From the Collection Garage, this is the Michael Jordan 623 project, data analytics on Michael Jordan cards. And today we are going to go through the 100 most submitted Michael Jordan cards to PSA based on the 623, aka I think like 800 Michael Jordan cards that I track in this project. If you're interested more in Michael Jordan data analytics, check out my Substack blog linked below. It's a paid blog, but it does have a free sneak peek kind of a version. So give it a follow and see if you like it. Otherwise, just enjoy. Okay, so we are in the Collection Garage, and we're going to do the 100 most submitted Michael Jordan cards to PSA in the history of PSA, going up through, I believe this would be up through about January 2026 is what these numbers will be up to. This is the first part of a series I'm doing just to get Michael Jordan card collectors kind of up to snuff on kind of the basics of where the numbers are with pops, pop counts, gem rates, things like that. And if you haven't already, check out my Substack that I will have linked in the description here, which I do about a weekly post on. It is paid, but I think it's really worth it. And I do, a bunch of data analytics on Michael Jordan cards, so check it out. And today, we're doing the 100 most submitted cards to PSA. And the reason for that is just to kind of get a sense of where, how common cards are that you might have or that you might be looking to get. And what their values are in relation to others of the same ilk. For instance, obviously I have the first page here starting from 100, and you can see an array of, a base Z-Force kicks it off, some chintzy collector's choice baseball card, and then you've got the Emotion Intense, which is one of the most, entry-level sought after inserts for Michael Jordan cards, and then the top season's best as well. We'll get to those, but in any case, that's what we're doing today. And I've got some notes along the way. Check out, if you haven't already, I have other videos in this series here. I think we're going through 3 different top 100 lists of gem rates. So I'm going to do for the top 100 worst gem rates for Michael Jordan cards that were submitted 1,000+ times. So we're calling that common cards. Then we'll do another one for cards, I believe, from 251 to 999 submitted to PSA. And then, so we'll call those like the uncommon. And then for the rares, anything below that. So from 1 to 250 submissions, we're going to count all those down. And that's going to be really important to look at, just to get a sense of how condition sensitive cards are. You're going to look and you're going to see a lot of base mixed in with some really high valued inserts in those as well. And so let's get to it. To start things off here, so we've got the Z-Force 1997, really good year. That was the year I really got into the flow of collecting as a kid. Tail end 96 into 97. In 98, those are my 3 big years, probably the 3 best years to collect. So, so we've got that leading off. That one, I've got some notes here as far as prices go, and you're looking at about, as of April 2026, about $500 for a PSA 10 on that one, versus the Intense, you're looking more at like $1,600. Interestingly enough, the gem rate on the Intense is 27% versus just about 11% for the Z-Force. So a very well-built card that Intense is. I don't have that, and the reason is I've always thought it was a little bit too valuable given how many there are. That's crazy. 2,491 submitted, more than a base Z-Force card from 1997, more than that collector's choice 1994. Not by much, but still, that's kind of wild. So something to think about. And then the center stage down there as well. That one, you can see the big difference here with that and the other cards. A 2.8% gem, only 7110s. And that baby has skyrocketed to almost $5,000 on the market for a 10. I remember a couple of years ago when it was like 2,000 at a show, and I was like, a little too much. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the deal with that is if it ever comes down. But in any case, let's move on here. Work clicker. Something broke. Okay, here we go. We're back. All right. 95, we've got the 96 metal. Again, just the base here. Pretty bad gem rate on that as well, comparable to the center stage. But this one you could pick up for about 1,700. And I think probably because it's just a base card versus the center stage as an insert. But if you think about it, pretty much almost about the same amount sent in. You know, they're back to back. They're 96 and 95 with the similar gem rate. And you're getting that one, I guess, at a discount, 1,700 versus almost $5,000. So as much as I like the center stage, I don't think I can ever stomach a price like that. And maybe it'll come down. We'll see. Let's see. The row 3, the flare there, that's a good year as well. Flare cards are always nice. You're looking at about 2,100 for the PSA 10 in that. Similar, I guess, to that metal, right? And they have similar gem rates as well. So yeah, I don't know, 1,700 for the metal versus 2,100 for the flare. I kind of would probably, if I had the choice between the two, if I had to buy one or the other, I think I would pay 2,100 for the flare versus the metal, given the fact that the stats are pretty in line otherwise. I don't know. What do you think? Okay, let's move on here. Yeah, so some more base cards here. We've got the Topps Gold. This one, I actually, the number 87 there on the list, the 92 Gold. Really cool card. I just sold my PSA 10 for over $700 and then just bought another raw one that looks like it has perfect centering. I haven't got it yet, but that card just got crazy. A lot of these older Jordans are running up pretty wild. And I actually made some moves to kind of further some things, including, I guess, maybe pop this into play here. A couple of boxes I got for the channel. So put this up here. The Topps embossed. If I could pull a Jordan Golden Idol in this, that would be cool. And also got Stadium Club to pull a beam team. I'm definitely going to pull a Jordan beam team in that. That's how it works. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, so that's where a lot of that money went, plus some to have some fun with some box breaks, which I know is probably going to end poorly and probably not something the guy doing data on Michael Jordan cards should recommend. Buying boxes, not a great ROI on that, but sometimes you got to have a little fun, so whatever. All right, where am I at? Let's just move on. 85 here, again, a little old base card, but with a cool a cool pose. Poor Ewing. I think that card, that's used in the Stadium Club too. I think, what is that, of the same year, maybe the year after. And yeah, man, that's a tough look playing defense, facing the wrong way. Do I have anything on this? Let's see. Not really. I guess the 90. That's the wrong year. The EX2000 PSA 10, you're looking at about $7,000 versus the 97 Chrome is like 800. So I put those two back together. I don't really know why. They're not really that similar, other than the number of submissions here, but only 46 PSA 10s on that EX2000 and a 1.6% gem rate. So not that many are, likely to come back. On that, I've got a 9, and that'll probably be it for me. I skipped one here. Okay, and on to 80. This one's interesting. So the 1994 Finest with the coating, almost 3,000 submitted, which is interesting. I would think that there would be a lot fewer. I think people would peel the coating off and send it in. but maybe not. And that should be different from the the pops and counts of the cards without the coating already. So that what you're seeing in front of you with those numbers is just for 94 finest 331 with coating. So keep that in mind. Power in the Key, that card's gone insane lately. I've got 22.5K for a PSA 10 last sale, and yeah, over 3,000 submitted. So a lot more submitted of this card than if you start with the number 100 that just base Z4s from 97, which wasn't really that uncommon of a card, and not that premium of a set back in the day anyway. And there were more Power in the Key inserts sent in than that one. So interesting. And then compare that with the Kenner there. So the Power in the Key versus the Kenner. So we've got very similar stats here. Only a few fewer 10s on the Power in the Key, very similar gem rates. But again, like I said, 22.5K last sale for the Power in the Key versus the Kenner. I've got a 6.6K last sale for the 10 on that. And this is where we're going to come across some discrepancies like that, where you have to look at both of these cards and think, what is the power of the aesthetics of that card, and just frankly how cool and 90s it looks. And the Power of the Key definitely fits that versus the starting lineup, which if this picture that I pulled is any indicator, just kind of a drab, bad picture where the background kind of blends into his arms. The ball kind of looks like it's floating. It's kind of funny. Maybe it doesn't look as bad on the actual card. I don't have it, but from this image, yeah, it just kind of looks like there's a ball floating and Michael Jordan has one arm. So there's that. So maybe that's why. All right, let's move on here. Hoops 91, 3,250 of those sent in. Yeah, pretty much we can kind of maybe skip these. Just some older base cards. The 95 metal, you can notice the gem rate on that one is pretty bad as well. Versus something like the one above it, the 91 Skybox, that's at 36% gem rate on that, over 1,200 10s. Pretty typical of that set. And there's a ton of Jordans in that set too. All right. Moving on. We've got the Scoring Kings. This is the classic card. 3,500 of these. Like this one, Scoring Kings, wasn't that 1 in 36 packs? I think it is, because I'm looking at boxes on this as well. If I can find one, that would be a fun box break to pretend that I'm going to get a Jordan Scoring Kings. So we'll see about that. Compare that, though, to the Inside Outside. The Inside Outside, 1.4% gem rate. So it's literally half the gem rate of the Scoring Kings. They have basically the same amount sent in. 97 10s on the Kings versus 50 on the Inside Outside. And like I was just saying before, the Inside Outside is kind of a cool looking old 90s vibe, but the Scoring Kings has lightning. And so when you have lightning in the card, that means that your PSA 10 is worth 30,000 versus the Scoring Kings 6,000. So so literally 5x the price based on, I guess, lightning. Maybe I'll have to look at that with other Michael Jordan Lightning cards, where we compare similar cards with similar stats on it and see how much more it's worth, like the Electrifying and the Thunder and Lightning and whatever else. All right, let's move on here. Do I want to talk about any of these? Probably not so much. Just some more older base cards. 97 Tops is one that hits home. I remember ripping some boxes of that. Stats, they're kind of what you might expect. They're moving on, so we'll move on from that. And here we have the Beam Team from 92, which obviously I have one ready for me in this box behind me. I just have to pull it out. And that one, where is that one at? I thought I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. It's at a lot of money in any case. And 111 PSA 10s, but everyone is going after that card. And there's 4,000 sent in to PSA total, which is pretty wild. Yeah, again, and I think that one's 1 in 36 too. So they just must have printed the shit out of those cards. So there's got to be some more out there. So we'll see. Yeah, so we'll just move on from that. 91 Skybox is, I feel like there's one of these cards finding its way in every rate. And then 2 down, we've got the Team USA at a 53%. Again, these cards have white backgrounds. Can't really tell with my background being white too, but that really helps with the gem rate ability. And then the 96 metal, pretty good gem rate for that versus the other one. So I guess if you're looking for raw metal cards to grade, even though it's only 13%, better shot with that than the 95 that we looked at earlier, which was in the single digits, well in the single digits. All right, again, 92 Fleer, just a base. We've got the emotion there. Emotion, 28% gem rate on that. I always thought that one was a little bit tougher to grade, but maybe not. Provisions down there. That card's weird. Don't really care for it. I do like the Ultra 30 though. At coming in with 5,332 sent in. 45, we get into the Ultra the year before, and then 96 metal. Yeah, so 96 metal too, 5.5%. Tough gem rate for 95 and 96 metal for Michael Jordan. But at least it's a little bit of hope for the 97. And yes, again, more Skybox 1991 creeping in there. And we take a break from that on this page, it looks like, but we've got the fake rookie card. That card's so dumb. Why did they make that? I don't know, but not as dumb as the one below it, the Fanimation. I guess we're aiming to get comic book fans into Michael Jordan cards back in the 90s. Yeah, I don't know. There's Ewing again that we mentioned about him at this pose. This one is at least zoomed out a little bit so we can see him bending over more. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I think it makes it worse. It definitely makes it worse. Sorry, Patrick. But we'll move 35. We're at the Fleer, 1993. We're in the 6,000s now, approaching the 7,000s with submissions, which leads us to the bottom there with the 97 Metal Universe, 7,305 submitted to this, and a 2.1% gem on that. And as you probably know, this one in a 10 is in the thousands. I want to say around 5 or so. I didn't make a note, but it's done some crazy numbers. Just seeing as how it's the base to the fabled gem, geez, what do you call it? The PMGs, platinum metal gems. 92 Ultra sneaking in there in the 7,000s. 91 Fleer, 91 Hoops. There's another 91 Skybox. Drink if there's a 91 Skybox card on this page. You'll have to go back and watch this again because we probably got through all of them now that I thought of that joke. But we'll move on here. Yeah, guess probably done. 95 metal. Oh, so this metal, interestingly enough, not number 22 here on the list. 8,762 of these. This is the Nuts and Bolts 212 95 metal. 20% gem rate. I've gemmed one recently and actually just sold it because this card has gone north of $400 for a card that typically I think was been like, I don't know, in the hundreds or so since a couple of years ago. So I had to move it, and I bought a few other raws too to try to replicate it. So we'll see if I can get another 10. But yeah, couldn't justify keeping that. And if you're going to run all this data on these cards and try to find some smooth moves, you got to kind of try to catch the wave in the sell department as well. All right, so we're getting into our top 20 here. So we're at 9. We go from 9,000 submitted to 15,000. So really taking a leap here from another fake rookie. We got to the 92 Topps Archives, number 52. And then we go into the 2 Fleer stickers. So the 87 and the 88. And if you look at the gem rates on these, yikes. 0.2%, 0.1%. And when we get into the worst gem rates for common cards, obviously these two are going to be pretty high on the list, so you'll have to catch that to see where exactly they fall. I'll give you a hint. It's pretty high. 91 Upper Deck down there as well. 91 Fleer. 90 Fleer. Yeah, so as you can see, we are now deep into the junk wax, late 80s, early 90s. We've got 16,000 to 22,000 on this page from 15 to 11. And all of these cards, well, I guess not so much the 91 Fleer, but the rest of them very, very valuable in PSA 10 condition, the last 3 especially. To the top 10, we've got the 86 sticker, 22,600 cent for the Michael Jordan rookie card sticker. Gem rate, look at that, 0.6%. Awful. I think, this one was in the pack with the gum, I think is where they put it on the other side of the sticker. So there's wax issues, there's gum issues and things like that, not to mention the centering, which was really bad with Fleer. 90 Hoops, seen this card a million times. There's a reason why. Same with the 1990 Skybox, the 89 Hoops, 4,890 tens on the 89 Hoops All-Star, 18.5 or 18.8 gem rate there, percent gem rate. 89 Fleer, 27,000 cent of those. And now let's get to our top 5. To give you a second to think of what might be on here. If you think in junk wax, you're going to be right. There's the rookie card. We haven't gotten to that. 86 Fleer, 57, 1.1% gem. 88, a couple years later, Fleer. And then we've got the 91 baseball card, the SP1. 33,693 sent in. 37,062 hoops sent in. And there it is, the card you knew that was going to be number 1, the 1990 Fleer 26. This card, my friends, almost doubles the number 2 the second most submitted card. 66,986 of these little boogers sent in. Since I pulled this, I'm sure it's probably well north of 70 now, with everything going on. And let me tell you, the PSA 10 is still running with the price. I think it was 400, 500, something like that. Just crazy. Something about these older Jordans right now is just really hot, and people are going after them. The hell with the price, the hell with how many of them there are. If you have a 10 right now, I would suggest selling it. I'll just say that, and just waiting to get it back. So there it is. The 100 most submitted Michael Jordan cards to PSA. And again, I'll come back. I think the next 3 I'll do are going to be list based on the gem rates for common cards, uncommon cards, and rare cards, as I was talking about before. Once again, check out my Substack link in the description. Give it a try. You can get in for free and kind of read the teases, but I do put a lot of work into the weekly posts. So I do charge for that, and it is, like a latte a month or whatever. So nothing too big for, to get the information that will really help you kind of be a better Jordan collector. And obviously the data isn't everything, but it can help guide you make decisions such as what I'm doing now, which is selling some of these cards that have higher pops and are kind of getting out of hand and make another move. So that's it for today, and we'll catch you next time.